we are bringing our best fight in the ring, we would not have homeless in this city. We would not have a crisis of domestic violence. We would not have children, because when we took prayers out of schools, guns came into schools.
He's a Democrat, right? If I vaguely remember, Eric Adams is supposed to be a Democrat. He's delivering a speech, Lindsey Graham or Ted Cruz could have. Yes, you've nailed it. It's when we took prayer out of schools, the guns came into schools. Oddly enough, I have a feeling that when the guns come into schools, plenty of children are desperately praying to be protected. Unfortunately, their politicians have abandoned them. No word on whether God has, but I know for sure the politicians have. So that's Eric Adams pretending that we just need more stick-to-itiveness and maybe more religion, and then we wouldn't have issues with the unhoused or with guns in schools. Those sorts of vague affirmations help no one, but they sound good in a speech, don't they, JR?
Every time, especially when you're trying to convince enough people that you're this moral, principled, high ground taking person. Every time, it's one of these events. It's I forget the national one they always have. Yeah, the National Prayer Breakfast, where then politicians have to go up there and talk about how much they love Jesus and love God and how it's infused in their politics, and everyone that doesn't agree with it are all immoral, devastatingly demonic human beings and all that same stuff. It's a clout chase. And I'm not sure where his belief systems are as far as in his heart. I know he says things like this a bunch about his belief systems, how much he trusts and believes in God, and how that then shapes his policy making. But then in this case, he's gonna have to then answer next, because he knows, as you pointed out, he's a Democratic politician. So he's heard that people talk about the problems with the shootings in our school, but he's just going in this route. Maybe he got caught up in the moment, because it was like, a couple hours worth of this entire event. So he's like, I gotta speak the way that people in this crowd are speaking or listening to. And then what? How does that work? So you're looking to implement prayer back in the schools to make it mandated and things like that? That question has to be asked next. And then what's his answer gonna be? Yes, that's my platform. Is it? Or are you just talking out of your ass?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a way that politicians talk to get out from having to actually do something, or to seem folksy in a shallow way. By the way, if prayer is important to you, that's totally fine. You're a regular person. You should be very suspicious of powerful people who are well connected, tapped in, trying to use that to evade responsibility. In any event, he continues on the topic of church and state. Take a look at this.
Don't tell me about no separation of church and state. State is the body, church is the heart. You take the heart out of the body dies. I can't separate my belief because I'm an elected official. When I walk with God. When I talk with God. When I put policies in place, I put them in with a God-like approach to them. That's who I am.
Jumped ahead of himself a little there with a God-like approach. That's not you being with God. That's you casting yourself as God, just to be clear. In any event, do I need to point out that in New York, there's probably literally millions of people who don't follow his religion, that don't follow any religion, that when you took the church out of their heart, they didn't die, they continue to lead perfectly fine, productive, moral lives. Again, you can lead that life with Christianity, or Buddhism, or Hinduism, or Islam, or Judaism, or whatever. You can also do it with literally none of those. Millions upon millions of Americans do it every single day. And I'm assuming that they would love to not be spit in the face by the person who's supposed to be supporting them. A guy who is supposed to be following the Constitution. That's supposed to be the sacred document that he's upholding, and not making clear that when those two things potentially are in conflict, we know where he's going to go. JR.
It's odd because he mentions the heart and the body. If you take the brain out of the body, it also dies as well. We can just throw these analogies around all we want, considering that's not what he's using in this case either. Again, this is all just another clout chaser. I don't know. I'm not sure how this is gonna benefit him. But so let's go ahead and float it then. Since it's gonna be, I guess he's gonna implement this in schools. What happens once Muslim students and teachers and administrators wanna roll out the prayer rug and then face Mecca and then pray? I hope I have it right. I don't know many of the tenets of Islam, and I'm not trying to disparage it in any way. But what if Muslims do start carrying out their religious principles and their ways of praying in the middle of school? And it's mandated? Is it mandated or is it allowed for them to do it? Because which kind of religion are we talking about?
Yeah,
it goes back to the same thing every time. They say freedom of religion. What they mean is bias policies towards Christianity. They think religion equals Christianity. They think there's no other religion. Like it's Christianity and that's it. So when I say I believe in prayer in schools, we automatically are supposed to think that it's about Christian prayer. What if it's not, bro?
Yeah, they think that if a Christian gets elected, that is warrant to just do a Christian government. Do you believe that they think that if a Muslim got elected, that means, well, then obviously the government should be Muslim? No, they definitely don't think that. Again,
in fact, they call that invasion, John.
Yeah, they would call that invasion. And by the way, a Muslim getting elected doesn't mean that they would want to suddenly make government Islamic in any particular way. Just a thought experiment to point out that as with so much else in politics, like 99% of the things that are asserted as if they're based on a principle are not. It's just pragmatism. That's all it is. It's power for me. And if you ever get it, you shouldn't get it. You shouldn't have any power or influence. That's the way it works. I'm assuming he's gonna get a lot of pushback. He has not responded well to criticism in the past, Eric Adams. So I doubt he really cares about the fact that he's insulting millions of his constituents. We'll see what happens.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.